up, everybody? Another episode of the Rapper Cap Podcast. I'm your host, Mike the Young OG. Man, welcome back, everybody. Took a week off to give y'all a new segment, introduce a new segment for this year. Love the feedback. Please continue to reach out if you guys have ideas. I've had several people reach out and tell me, hey, bro, like so-and-so would be a good person to have on free game, or, you know what I'm saying? Just, I love being introduced to new people and new things, and working with different brands and promoting black business especially. So it's been a real joy to see the fact that y'all really rock with this. Definitely wearing my own merch. This is one of a kind, so I know y'all are like, where the merch at? But it's coming. It's coming. By the time you see this episode, it'll be out in a matter of days, you feel me? But I had to put on for my own brand. No disrespect to anybody else's brand, but definitely want to support myself as well and push my stuff as well as other people. But man, I'm excited. We finally back into the episodes. This will be the first series that I do. It's called the Mental Health Series. Nothing really special. Today, we really just going to talk about how mental health problems run in our bloodline. And the inspiration behind this really was just quarantine, because I feel like mostly out of all of us, well, let me just speak for me. I feel like I've suffered the most in any area of my life mentally during quarantine. Just a matter of how to stay productive, what's next, how to go forth and do things. So it's just been rough for me personally. So I thought I should speak about it, and maybe somebody else, is in the same position as me. And, we can talk about it. We can, sort through it and all that. So I don't know yet where I'm going to go with this segment of the series. I feel like this could be a ongoing series, just the mental health problems running our bloodline. I would love to get somebody from Chinese culture. I would love to get somebody from the Vietnamese culture, or from African culture, or from Greece culture, or from French culture, and just, like, compare, and just really, dive deep into how true this statement is and how true this podcast is in terms of, like, mental health problems, and just really getting down to the root of issues, and really, seeing if we can trace things back, and, just see if I'm rapping and capping. But I would love, so whoever, it doesn't matter. It can still be African American people. It could be Caucasian people. I don't care. I kind of want to just ride this for a little bit, do rebuttals, and just put it out there. Just some, they could be some free game episodes, or they could be some actual episodes, but I feel like that would be a dope concept. So, without further ado, we're going to jump right in this thing. I don't really feel like this is going to be a long-winded one, just because I wanted to leave it open for you guys to respond, and to be able to piggyback off of what some of the things I'm saying, and be able to digest it while still being provoked in thought. So really, I just really wanted to stress what's going on today in America, and specifically Black America and white America. There's obviously been high tensions ever since, dating back to slavery, but especially now, being is that we had a racist president in office who enabled other races to be able to come out of hiding for this whole time since Obama's election, since the Bush's election, since Clinton's election, since W. Bush's election. Like, we really haven't seen any racist outbreaks, because they've contained it very well, because they've just obviously made a stand, and they've done the bare minimum to basically keep all of that contained without, stepping on any toes. But now that you have someone who has provoked that as they left the office, it's clear as day, and you really can't deny that we're having the second civil rights movement in 2021, 2020. And it's amazing to see, because we always say this is what Dr. Martin Luther King died for. Like, and really, you know what I'm saying? His death shed light on how racist the country. The fact that he was even assassinated is a testament to the racism in this country. But nonetheless, what he did was just to start the movement. It wasn't to necessarily end racism. It was just to get our foot in the door. And now it's on us to continue that legacy and to continue to push to exploit all possibilities and all points of racism in America and in the world in general, but starting right here where most of us live. And so I felt like it was important to kind of trace that history, that beef back to, for one, slavery. And I know a lot of racists and a lot of white people and even some black people, even other races, are just kind of like, when are y'all gonna let that go? And that's history. That's our history as black people. We cannot let slavery necessarily go, because, I mean, that was a part of our whole history. That's a part of our heritage. Our ancestors were enslaved. Like, everything that we're dealing with now is a result of slavery. So, and I'm going to get into that a little bit as well, but just knowing, we always hear about, oh yeah, uh black people were taken from their country, their homeland, and we were taken to Europe, we were taken to the Americas and made into slaves, or tricked into being indentured servants, and we were kidnapped essentially and ripped from our families. And you see the fruit of it today. And the first thing that I want to say is that if this were to happen today in America, it'd be a crime, like kidnapping. And where do you see this anywhere in American culture now, that it is okay to be kidnapped, or anybody's culture? Like, it may be more common to know, oh, there's kidnappings, but it's not the norm here at all. There was That's a crime here. You could go to jail for life depending on how serious the kidnapping is and what you do. And that's the first thing, like, to be a grown man or a grown woman or a child, and you're taken from your homeland by force. You have your brothers and sisters in your homeland selling you out so that their family doesn't get taken, or selling your tribe out so their tribe doesn't get taken. And ultimately, they work with them to betray their own race. Mentally in itself, that's hard to digest, that's hard to fathom, and to look back at that and to really take that for what it was. It's like, wow, like, no, it's not like white people were just finding villages and tribes as they, plummeted through the land. No, 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 no. Africans, which we can say African Americans now, were helping some white people, or some of the different Europeans, kidnap us and take us away, to get resources to protect themselves, fear. And that's a tough pill to swallow, the fact that you're betrayed by your own kind. So you move it forward, and I don't know if anybody's seen the Amistad, but it's basically just about life on the ship, on a slave ship, and the conditions that they had to live in. And it's based on a true story, or true events, I should say. And you're on top of one another, laying down for hours at a time in the dark, chained together with your brother or your sister, or with someone you don't even know. There's not really any water. You're on a ship for months to get where you need to go. People are getting sick. They're throwing up. People have to use the bathroom. They're urinating. They're not allowed really to go to the bathroom. You're not really being fed. and you see people dying and sick all around you, and just that's like, it's like being in the room with someone who has COVID, or being in the room with multiple people who have COVID and being chained up, and imagine if one of them coughs and everybody's like, oh God, and they cough out loud. You're susceptible for that. Not to mention the changing of the climate, the changing of the people that you're around. You're more susceptible to different germs. Therefore, you're dealing with your own germs. You're dealing with malaria. You're dealing with seasickness, whatever. Then you deal with all the European germs and all their diseases and stuff like that, and you mix the two, and it's a shock to your inside. It changes everything, because now the way that your immune system and that your body is used to functioning and working and doing certain things has to completely change, adapt, and evolve. And we know evolution doesn't necessarily happen instantaneously. It may happen over generations to come. So therefore, I mean, a great example of that is Pangea. All one country or all one continent, one area, and everything is supersized. So, you know what I'm saying? The Titanoboa, like, that's basically 2-3 times the size of an anaconda. It's that big because everything was that big. But, you know, as Pangea is separated into the 7 different continents, and you have little small islands, little small countries, you see, like, oh, okay, like, everything is basically downsized, because you don't typically see snakes that big, or you'll never see snakes that big again, because that's not what that's not the way, the circle of life anymore. There aren't huge animals like T-Rexes and huge alligators and all that type of stuff. Their animals aren't as big as they are anymore. They're downsized because they evolved over time. So, and another example is velociraptors. It's traced back and shown historically, they used to have wings, and then they adapted to having literally no wings and no feathers, no nothing, just a version of the velociraptor that we see in Jurassic Park, because of the way that the land has shifted and the way that that livestock and the way that the world was revolving and evolving. So it's important that we really take our time and really look at that when we're reading these stories and when we're being taught in school, the little that we're taught in school about things like this. You're on a ship for months at a time, chained to someone, and you can't go to the bathroom at will, you can't eat at will, and when you get sick, you're basically infesting everyone else around you. And it's not like you're laying there comfortably. You're laying on wood. You may be on your back. You may be on your stomach. But it's not like you can just turn and move when you want to. Because if you turn or you move or you try to do something, you're affecting the whole chain of people that you're connected to. And that means everyone has to shift. And it's not like, you know what I'm saying, when you're laying down chained to somebody, you can just go like this and roll over. No. You got to roll over. Everybody got to roll over. And the whole thing has to shift to another side. And so when you really sitting there thinking about that, it's like, man, like the psyche and the mental capacity to sit there, lay there for months and know I possibly could not survive this trip. And if I do survive, mentally I'm going to die, because now I'm being sold by the people who captured me, and I may not be with my family if I have family. And I'm definitely not going to be with all of my tribe or my village. And I'm going to essentially be separated from them and work and get beaten if I don't obey the commands of certain people. And you get into that and you're like, someone is really, they treat me as less than a human. They treat me like an animal, and then pay all this money for me. So clearly I'm worth something since you're paying all this money for me, because slaves were not cheap. Slaves were expensive. The more slaves you had was really not an indictment, but it was a testament to how rich you were. So you having 2-3 slaves, it's like, oh, okay. I mean, they don't have any real money. Oh no, the people who had plantations and they had all the slaves, the house slaves, the plantation slaves, the ones who worked in the, you know what I'm saying, in the fields, everything. Like, you gotta have money for that. So it's not like slaves were cheap. So whenever you see, oh, slaves getting beat, yeah, they getting beat onto the brink of death, or they just getting beat until they need a couple days to recover. They're not being killed. Not a lot of slaves were necessarily killed until they got older, or unless they were just clearly rebellious. But not a lot of slaves were just murdered. No, 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 no. They need that. That's money. That's hundreds of dollars going down the drain. And back then, that's a lot of money. You could translate that into thousands of dollars, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars. So you have to keep that in mind and go step by step through the African American process to really say we need to let that go. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Because our ancestors carry and told that story throughout generations and throughout generations. Studies show that when whatever feelings that you have during pregnancy affect the baby. So your anxiety through a pregnancy for females or for women, it multiplies into the baby. It goes into the baby. So if you're anxious, that baby now becomes anxious. Dealing with you feeling depressed the whole time with your child or through whatever, that baby feels that. Everything, we have to realize when you're pregnant, and I know I really want my all my friends who've had kids to really step up on this and back me up on this, because I'm not just pulling this off the top of my head. You and that baby are one when you're pregnant. Even when the baby is first born, you guys are one. Y'all, they share a bond that the dad and the child can never have, regardless of, oh, I'm a daddy's girl, I'm a mommy's girl, I'm a mama's boy, I'm a mama's boy. I mean, or a daddy's boy. Like, nah, none of that stuff matters. That child and the mom will always have a special bond that nobody else has because he or she came from the mother. So therefore, you have to realize, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, like, if the baby doesn't like strawberries, but mommy does, guess what? Mommy can't have strawberries no more. If the mom likes bananas and the baby likes bananas, it's going to be a lot of banana eating. And that's what we have to understand. Whatever emotions we feel as well as whatever we eat, whatever, that affects that child. So that's why the doctor says you can't just eat everything. You know, you find out what you can eat and what you can't eat on pregnancy, because it's like, I mean, I'm not eating for one, I'm eating for two. And if one don't like it, I'm not going to like it because it's going to come back up, or I'm going to feel it and I'm going to be sick. And I was having a good talk with my friend Denisha. Shout out to Denisha. And she was just telling me, she's like, I'm still finding out how and what I can eat, because my appetite my taste buds, they're still off from when I had my child. And it's like, wow. And she's like, I remember what I liked on my pregnancy, but it's really not the same. Like, everything has changed. Certain things I can eat, certain things I can never eat. Some things I have to be in the mood for. Some things make me sick. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to really take all of this into account. Now, boy, throat getting dry. My bad. So now moving on, you have to see it for what it is. So if that's the case between children, so then how does grief get passed through generations? If your mom watched for her whole life since she was little, she watched her dad get beat when we didn't pick cotton fast enough. Or if they tried to run away, she felt as well as saw her family get beat. Her family get embarrassed, her family get shamed, and then get put back to work and work even harder than what they were before. She's watched other people go through the same thing. So therefore, when she brings a child into the world, there has to be a bittersweet, but resentful feeling. And I say that because I know for a mother, she's not only thinking, oh my God, I'm so happy I'm pregnant. It's the simple fact of I'm pregnant, and she's also thinking, this is the world that I have to bring my child into. Knowing that, oh, I could have this child and potentially Master could sell it, or he could take it. And backing up even further, it might not even be her baby. It could be the Master's baby. The Master used to rape black women in the house, hence light skin. And of course, everybody's like, well, duh. No. Because we do this whole dark skin, light skin, brown skin whole thing, this whole colorism thing. We need to stop it and see where that root comes from. White people love stuff like that. It brings division in our culture. Oh, you light skin, like you soft. Are you dark skin, like y'all? Why y'all always so aggressive? Oh, brown skin, y'all got the perfect blend. Like, nah, cut that out, bro. Black is beautiful regardless. And we got to understand that and stop looking at shades of color and really look at why this is such a thing. It's not, we didn't start this. And I don't want to sit here and bash any other race, but the root of it is slavery, Caucasian people, dividing. The lighter fare was in the house, the darker fare was outside, or the younger daughters and everything were in the house. And the old women that worked there that had kids, they brought their kids in there, and it was a potential that, oh yeah, my kids could get raped today. And then get treated even worse by the master's wife simply because she knew that he was no good and that was raping the kids. But you want to take that hate out on the kid and not on the master. Because your husband wants to sleep with a young adult. Now, it's definitely your fault. Stop it. And for the Caucasian race, you know how mentally ill you have to be to want to have sex with a child, to rape young black women, and then act as if they're the ones, and really believe that they're the ones who come onto you and that they're the ones who provoke you to do the things that you do. And for you to have the mental capacity to go out into the field and beat someone on the brink of death, or even kill someone on a day-to-day basis. Do you know what the mental capacity for that has to be? You cannot be in your right mind to be able to do that. And so I say this. That is the tension between black and white people. It's all the stuff that we have not addressed in the past, all the stuff that we have not apologized, that we have not sorted out. It's that right there. And then we as black people are victimized and seen as the aggressive race, or we kill each other, so why does it matter if another race kills you or if you die here and there every year? Stop. You put us in these ghettos. The ghetto, the hood that we live in now, you started that whenever we were first in slavery. We were isolated. We didn't live in the nice houses. We built our own houses, had to use the cheap fabric, the fabric that you guys didn't care about, or little raggedy stuff that y'all gave us to use. We didn't have the luxury of staying somewhere where we can go home at the end of the day, and say, well, I'm just glad to be home, man. It's clean, whatever. No, it's infested. Might be rats everywhere. You might have a snake infesting. You might have roaches. Like, not to mention, we in the South. South is swampy. Virginia is swampy. North Carolina, swampy. Like, bunch of woods, all that. So you going all the way down where? You want to go all the way down to Louisiana? Yeah. Think about it. The South, what we known for? It's hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's snakes. It's a bunch of animals, it's a bunch of land, all that. Like, this ain't just no regular degular, like, you know what I'm saying? The South ain't up north where it's just cold. Like, nah. We outside with it. We sweating with it. Right. And that is the gap that we forget. Or we forget, like, oh wow, like the the endurance that it takes to go through things like that on a day-to-day basis, that how much you have to train your mind from once being in your own country and doing your regular routine to take care of your family to now I'm taking care of my family under extreme conditions, life or death conditions. And not to mention, if you get sick, what kind of medicine are you getting? Where's the medicine coming from? Yeah, you might get the bare minimum just to keep you alive, but you're gonna suffer through it, and you might even have to work through it, depending on what it is. And now today in America, it's a luxury, and you have things set up for if you don't want to work when you're pregnant, like you get maternal leave, or you know what I'm saying, or if you like need to take a break, you know what I'm saying, like. But back then, oh, okay, cool. You pregnant? Oh, how far along are you? 7 months, 8 months? Yeah, yeah. You can go pick the corn up, or you can go wash the clothes, or you can go take care of the kids. You could do this. Yeah. Mentally, it's just draining, like, oh, this not where it stops. Oh, I gotta keep going no matter what. Like it doesn't just stop because I'm pregnant. Oh, it doesn't just stop because I might have to get stitches. No, 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 no. That's fine. Handle that. Get back in that field. And you working from sun up to sun down. And your meals, it's not like you getting, we not eating steak. Ain't no New York strips. Ain't no bacon. Ain't no nice piece of sausage. Bro, you eating pig's feet. You eating chitlins. You eating the fat of the pig. You eating the stuff they don't want. Yeah, that's a part of our culture today. Some people like it. Not knocking if you like it, but that stuff ain't always that stuff is not good for you, for one, and for two, it's not always clean, it's not always prepped correctly, and it stinks. If y'all ever I got some viewers who been in the house when their grandma or their mama cleaning chitlins. Nasty smell of live. And it contains the whole house. And so for people who can't take that smell, how you think they feel when somebody cooking and they just probably throwing up everywhere, or they just taking a boo-boo everywhere? Yeah, bro. So you see colorism in all of this, because it's like, man, how such and such get to be in the house? We out here breaking our backs, and he in there chilling with Master. Nah. Like, walk with me. That's how it is. That's how the colorism start, and they pit us against each other. They're like, this is my favorite. This is my favorite nigger, as if that's supposed to mean something. This is my favorite nigger, or he's the most hardworking nigger I got. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, you're rewarded and you're seen as good, like a dog, for your hard work. Not just for being a human. Not, oh, this is my favorite person, or this is my favorite person to be around. No. He's the most hardworking nigga I have. And he's strong, and he gets the job done under any circumstances. So it's a business-slave relationship. The business side is you better perform for what I paid for you. And the slave side is you'll be doing this for the rest of your life and you will never get your freedom. Mentally, how do you cope with things like that? And for that mindset to be instilled in generation after generation after generation after generation, and then boom, the Civil War happens and it still ain't cut out. The Civil War happens and the people who lose get to keep their flag, and which we still see flying around today. I saw it today on the back of a motorcycle. The Confederate flag. Abraham Lincoln was so anxious to end the war and repair America, he said, hey, I'm going to let y'all keep y'all independence. and I'm gonna let y'all keep y'all flag, but you gotta submit to Union authority. Cool. And then slavery, even then, didn't stop. You had people, oh, I don't care, like, I don't care what Lincoln says. He ain't here in the South, so how he gonna know that I still got slaves? Oh, y'all wanna run away? Oh, okay. Now you're gonna pass the bill to where all slaves are free, and then you know what I'm saying we can go to jail, or I could lose money off of that. I bet I'm gonna just kill you. So knowing that you're free but not really free, that is a mind screw. Because in the back of your mind, you're like, I can leave, but if I leave, I know I'll die. Or if I leave, I know I'll never have a chance to properly survive. Mentally, there is nothing that you can do to cope with that. Because how do you even move on from that mindset? What do you go on and tell your kids? That is a part of your history. That mindset is still in today. We live in these separated communities, in these separated lives from white people, and they have the privilege because they are simply white. And the thing that black people want to really stress to white people is we're not upset at Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, all the billionaires in the world who have all this money. Hey, wish it could be us. Our thing is, you will be in a better position to be there because of your skin tone and nothing else more. It's not because you guys work harder than us. It's because of your skin tone. That's what black people have an issue with. You're giving a better opportunity. You're better off starting off as if your skin tone is white. We're not. We're stopped by police. We are denied jobs because of our hair, because of our skin tone, because of the way that we talk. And yet, white people seek to embrace our culture, but not us. That's another mental screw. How can you love someone's culture, but not love the people? And our culture traces back to Africa. All the different beats that we nod our head to, all the different sounds, the music, that's Africa. We have a knack for it. It's in our blood. But what's also is in our blood are issues that we need to discuss as a race along with white people. You need to discuss that your ancestors were sick. And it doesn't mean that you're sick, but it means that it's in your bloodline. Therefore, you need to look around you and ask yourself, is racism, not even is racism real? Racism is real. Why don't I think it's real? Is that the privilege in me? That because I don't have to see it? Or because this is how I was raised? Or am I really looking at it from an ignorant point of view? Or is it both? That's what white people have to ask themselves, and that's what black people think about all the time. Do you even know what we had to go through? And me being hundreds of years removed, like I don't know what happened necessarily. I know what I read. I know what accounts were, but I know what was going on. Men were raped by the master as another mind screw. As to assert his dominance, he would rape some of the men. Mentally, that is emasculating as a man. And I do not speak down on anyone in the LBGT community. But do you know how that turns a man mentally? To be penetrated by another man by force and to know maybe you are stronger than him, maybe you could kill him. But if you do, you will die, your family will die, and maybe some more people as an example. And I'm not raping you because I enjoy it or because you enjoy it. I'm raping you to assert my dominance and to let you know I'm king here. Your dominance does not exist. You as a man do not exist. I'm the only man. And he treats you as such, like a dog. That mindset, sick. Mentally, you have to need help to be in that state of mindset. And it's not like, oh, that's just one or two bad apples. No, this was common. In fact, it's a passed on tradition and method used in multiple bunches of white families. So this month, as we're celebrating Black History Month and as we're celebrating our heritage, let's look at the mental health side of it. Let's really break it down and say, why are Black people the way that they are? Why are white people the way that they are? And yes, I do agree, because I know I have some folks out there like, okay, but you need to address the Black on Black crime. Okay. Just like we need to address the white on Black crime, just like we need to address Asian on Asian crime, just like we need to address Hispanic on Hispanic crime. Let's trace that back, though, to see why things are the way that we are. Why do we kill each other? Because we've been pit against each other. Mandingo fighting. You're fighting for your life. Whoever kills the other Mandingo survives, and your career only keeps going until you win a certain amount of fights or until you die. I don't understand why we're focusing on Black crime, which does need to stop. So does white on white crime. So does a lot of things. Let's focus on the real issue in America so that we can focus on the subtopics. We're in this big old tree, and it's like everyone's like, oh, but that branch right there is breaking. But the tree has fallen. The tree is on the ground. It's fallen. The roots are out, everything. You can see all where the tree's roots lead to. You can see all the animals that was living in it, under it, all that. And we're like, oh yeah, that branch right there that fell off, yeah, that's a problem. I don't know how we're gonna root this tree back down. That's not the way it works. So, in closing out, I would encourage all of us to really dive into our culture, whether Black, white, or Hispanic or Asian culture, Italian culture, European culture, and just really trace back some of our mental health problems. Why do we have anxiety? And it might not trace back to slavery. Anxiety may trace back to our parents. Like, what were they going through during the time they were pregnant with me? Or, for an example, closing out, my mom doesn't mind me sharing this story, but my mom had a mental breakdown right when she thought she wasn't going to be able to pay for college anymore. And a lot of things were happening in her life that she didn't understand. And she was dating my dad at the time. And her and my dad broke up, and her whole life was crashing down on her. She tried to commit suicide. And she had a whole mental breakdown. And, you know what I'm saying? My mom's not crazy. She's not psycho. She's not in a mental ward or anything. But my mom struggles with anxiety. And when I graduated, and even whenever I was in college, it was more so I felt that anxiety. And I didn't know it was anxiety. But after I graduated, I was depressed. Nobody knew but me. And I didn't even know until later on. And I was just like, I don't want to do anything. I don't know what to do now. Life just feels empty of a void that I had for 5 years. And that's how it was. And I was anxious. I was depressed. I didn't want to do anything really. I didn't want to look for a job. Even during quarantine, I was like, I don't care. I don't want to work. I just want to stay in the bed. And occasionally I want to get out and do things. And now, and looking back, I was like, wow, that on my mom's way out, that's the same thing that happened to her. And on my way out, That's the things that I started to go through. I wasn't suicidal. It wasn't to that extreme, but I genuinely was hurting, and I had a lot of things going on within me that I didn't even know how to deal with, and I didn't even know was there. But tracing that back and talking to my mom, I was like, wow, that's where it stemmed from. That got passed on to me. I struggle with some of those things now, and it's not more so like, oh, I'm cursed, but you just have to break that generational curse. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not cursed, but that's generational curse. You have to break that mental health boundary, that mental health issue, and you just have to diagnose it with the right things and not try to use mechanisms that help you cope but don't deliver you and don't heal you. So tried to keep it brief, y'all, and I definitely want rebuttals. So definitely we gonna really dive into some different aspects of the mental health realm this month. This is just the first week to just kind of address everything. So like I said, I'm your host, Mike the Young OG. Check the merch. We're gonna drop soon. Don't worry about it. Like, don't stop asking me. A matter of days. So yeah, follow us on Instagram, Rapper Cap Podcast, RAPORCAP Podcast. That's on Instagram. If you're following on Twitter, remove the T and add the 1 for podcast. And yeah, man, y'all let me know if I'm rapping and capping. Peace out.